Welcome back, everyone. International Kiwi hairstylist and jet setter Richard Kavanagh has just returned from New York Fashion Week, the lucky thing, where he caught up with all the new trends for next season. Richard, great to meet you and have you on the show. And congratulations. How long have you been doing the hair at New York Fashion Week?
Well, this was my first time at New York. So
wow.
It was fantastic. It was really exciting.
How exciting. But you've done Sydney, you've done...
Sydney, South Africa, Auckland. I do ID Dunedin.
And that's really your signature one, isn't it, the ID Dunedin fashion show?
It is. I've been the lead stylist on that for the last, I think, 6 or 7 years.
How does a young man from New Zealand get internationally noticed so that they get invited to these shows?
Thanks for calling me young. You can be my friend.
That's right. You're young to me. How did you sort of establish yourself on the international set?
I think I'm really lucky that about 10 or 12 years ago I won a bunch of hairdressing competitions with some really cool photographs that were published internationally.
Wow.
And then I started putting myself out for freelance work, doing editorial for magazines, which I ended up working for UK, US, Australian magazines. And then when people came here to shoot commercials for hair companies and for fashion brands for the US and Asia and things like that, they just hired me.
How brilliant. Now, you took a little video diary for us while you were over in New York.
Sure did.
We've got about 3 clips today. Let's take a look at the first one. So this is 2008 Fashion Week.
Good morning, I'm in New York for New York Fashion Week for the fall collections for '09. My plan is to go and see a whole bunch of shows, hopefully get to do some hair on the shows, and to bring back to you some of the looks that are being shown in the fashion capital of the world, New York City. I'm very excited to be here. All right, here we are pulling up outside Bryant Park. This is the home of New York Fashion Week. This is the centre where it all happens. All the big shows happen here. And you can see there's plenty of people, beautiful people everywhere. All right, let's go. Fashion Week. So one of the crazy things that happens at big fashion events is that the models go from one show to the next. There's a whole lot of models that have been held up for more than 2 hours. The show's about to start, so in a few minutes it is going to get absolutely... So all of that, chaos, mayhem, hours and hours of preparation for what essentially amounts to about a 5-minute show. But they look good, and that's all that counts.
So compare Fashion Week in New York to, say, Auckland or other fashion weeks around the year. Is it just, like, right up there?
Oh, it's so much bigger. It's just, it's a whole different level. I mean, the key stylists that are working on the shows are the best hairdressers in the world. You know, we've got Sarah Jessica Parker's hairdresser, we've got Eva Longoria's hairdresser, we've got the best people doing hair backstage. You've got the biggest designers showing their latest collections. So I was there last week, and it was fall '09.
Oh, I see.
So they're showing next season's trends.
That's right. And, of course, you're going to have the top models in the world, aren't you? You're going to have the most beautiful women in the world.
All the big girls.
Now, you mentioned Sarah Jessica Parker's hairdresser and a few other famous names. We've got another clip which I want to show, and we'll talk over this one, and you can point out what we're seeing here and who these designers are.
So this little girl here is Georgia, and she's actually a Kiwi model that I met backstage. And
Kiwi model?
Yeah. It was amazing. There was all these French accents and German accents, and then here was Georgia.
Hello.
I know you. And this
cool.
guy, some of you might know, is Tyson Kennedy, the lead man from the band Stereogram. Now, they made this clip with Michelle Gondry, and they were nominated for a Grammy. He works at a salon in New York called Cutler.
He's also a hairdresser.
He's also a hairdresser, so he goes between New York and LA, recording an album and working in the salon. So I had a chat with him, and hopefully at some stage later on we'll get to see that in coming weeks. We saw Tori Spelling in the front row, plenty of celebs. We saw Miss USA, Crystal, I can't remember her surname, Kanye West. He was there in the front row wearing his little drummer boy uniform. And this girl was interesting. She was the face of L'Oreal in the 90s, and she's now a fashion reporter in Brazil. But the people I wanted to work with was these guys here. These are the lead hairstylists, Teddy Charles, Di, something or other that I can't say his surname. This is Sarah Jessica Parker's hairdresser.
This one here?
Yannick D.
Yannick D, he's from France?
He's French, and he was having a very hard time on this show.
Why? What do you mean?
It was very stressful. It was an hour and a half into the 3-hour prep time, and the designer hadn't finalised the look.
Oh, my goodness, so just last minute before he...
Last minute.
Is there lots of screaming and carrying on and like drama?
On that particular show there was actually lots of "you'll never work on a show in New York again," blah 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 kind of things going on. It was pretty crazy.
How do they treat a Kiwi over there?
Well, it was funny, I got thrown into the deep end with Yannick. Ended up having to pass up pins to him, and I didn't know who he was. And so I've got a handful of pins, and he slaps my hands and tells me, "This is a mess, what are you doing?" And there's pins everywhere, and he's like, "You know, if you do this in 2 minutes you'll be gone."
How terrifying.
And I said, "Look, I don't know you. I'm just trying to help. So if you tell me what you want, I'll pass it to you, and we'll all get along fine."
Good on you. So you did the Kiwi sticking up for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. By the end of the show, it was great, you know. It was really nice. He shook my hand and he said, "Oh, very nice, thank you. I see you on the next one, huh?"
Oh, thank goodness. Phew, you didn't get thrown out. My goodness. Now, I prefaced this piece saying we're going to look at the new looks and trends for this year. So we're talking about autumn 2009, which, of course, is our spring, which is later on in the year. So let's have a look for what are the trends? Is it still the bob?
Well, what was interesting to me is that in this economic downturn, next season looks for the hair and the clothes was a lot more romantic and optimistic, I think are the words.
Interesting.
So we saw lots of curls, loads and loads of curls. We saw.
It's not, and even this, even though you cut their hair up, it's loose, isn't it? It's free. It's a bit flimsy.
It's very loose. This was a really cute hairstyle, and I want to show you how to do that hairstyle in coming weeks.
Brilliant.
It's really cute.
Here are the curls.
Yeah, Diane von Furstenberg's show was beautiful, kind of very romantic, slightly bohemian, beachy curls. That's me working on the Diane von Furstenberg show. I managed to do those curls. They were a lot of fun. So I think for me the key trend is romance curls, a little bit of a hint of the 20s and 40s.
What's the main styling tool that was being used?
The key styling tool was a large curling tong.
A large curling tong, yeah, that's what I could see there.
Yeah.
Is this old footage or is this current?
This is current footage. This was an incredible show, off-site actually. It wasn't at Bryant Park, it was in a residence in Midtown, in a 3-story residence.
Wow, and you were there doing the hair?
I did hair on this show as well. It was so beautiful.
Oh, that's that famous model from the Sudan, isn't it?
I don't know her name, but yes.
I can't think of her name too, but she's quite famous. You know, she was discovered, I think she was discovered in England actually, but now she's an international model. Look at these beautiful women.
You know, these girls are all so tall and glamorous and lovely. And our very own Kiwi model, Georgia, was up there strutting her stuff with the girls.
That is just so impressive. Now, when you're shooting something like this, how hard is it to get, like, media passes and all that sort of thing? I mean, were they quite nervous of you shooting all the stuff on the camera?
There were times where we were told to just get out of it, go away. Things were getting too chaotic backstage, particularly just backstage before the girls were about to walk out. And there were times where my poor cameraman had to fight with this media frenzy at the end of the catwalk, literally a grandstand with like 100 or 150 press piled up on top of it, and you know, trying to talk to the camera at that point with people just standing in front of me and walking over and jostling and elbowing.
Crazy stuff, but how fun. Richard, look, it's great to have you on the show and vicariously live through Fashion Week with you, and I look forward to future segments. We are doing a giveaway today, and I just wanted you to tell me briefly about your products, because you've developed your own range of styling products.
So as a hairstylist, I have specific needs in what I want for my hair tools. So I decided to create the definitive range of professional hairstyling tools. And today we're going to give away one of those, one of the key styling products from New York Fashion Week, which is a large barrel ceramic and tourmaline curling tong.
How exciting. I wish I remember the skinny barrel ones from the 80s, but we are giving away a set of styling tools developed by Richard today. These were used backstage, the very tools at New York Fashion Week, and he's going to be using these tongs, these big fat tongs, to create some looks for us over the coming weeks. Now, to win the set, look what you've got there, it's brilliant. Just answer this question: what's the main styling tool used backstage at Fashion Week this year? You can enter online at tvnz.co.nz, keyword good morning, and click on our competition zone, or write to PO Box 31643, Lower Hutt 5040.